Frames are a fundamental part of managing the responsiveness and the organization of your design. In this lesson, we're going to be going through everything you need to know about frames. Frames are a multifunctional tool allowing you to group items within them, but they can also be used to create basic shapes, such as a rectangle or a line. You can easily add a frame from the top bar navigation by selecting the frame icon, or by using the keyboard shortcut F. Once selected, you can then click and drag onto the canvas to specify the desired size. Once a frame is on your canvas, you can nest other elements inside it to create groups. This process is called nesting. When an element is nested, the frame becomes the parent and the element inside becomes the child. This relationship is shown in the Layers panel, where the child elements are indented beneath their parents. There are three primary methods to nest an element within a frame. The first way is to draw a new element directly into a frame. First, select your desired element, either from the top bar navigation or from the Add menu. Then draw the new element directly inside the borders of an existing frame. Another way is to move an existing element on the canvas into a frame. Select the chosen element that's already on the canvas and click and drag it into a frame. You'll need to hold down the Command or Control key while dragging it over the parent frame. You can also manage child elements within the Layers panel. Simply click and drag any element directly into the frame layer. A white outline will indicate where it will be nested. Let's take a quick look on how to select items nested within frames. When selecting a frame, a single click will select the parent frame. You can double click to drill down and select the child element inside. For a faster method, hold down the Command or Control key before clicking to select. This bypasses the parent and instantly selects the element you clicked on, no matter how deeply it's nested. You can also select any element directly from the Layers panel. By default, dragging a child element visually outside the frame's borders does not remove it from the group. It remains a child in the Layers panel. To unnest the element, you'll need to select the child element on the canvas. Whilst holding the Command or Control key, click and drag the child element outside of the parent frame. You can also remove the child element from the parent frame within the Layers panel. To do this, click and drag the indented layer out of its parent frame. Inside a frame, elements are stacked based on their order within the Layers panel, meaning elements higher in the order are in the foreground and lower elements are in the background. Another note is that a child element's position and size are relative to its parent frame, not the entire section. A child element set to 50% width will be 50% of the parent frame's width. You can also create frames by grouping existing elements on your canvas. First, select all the elements you want to group, and this can include other frames. You can do this by selecting one element on the canvas, then whilst holding the Shift key, click on any additional elements. Alternatively, you can click and drag your cursor on the canvas to draw a selection box around the elements. You can also select multiple elements from the Layers panel by holding the Command or Control key whilst clicking on each element's layer. Once your elements are selected, you can group them by using the keyboard shortcut Command G or Control G. Or alternatively, you can right-click the selection and select Group. A new frame with a transparent background will be created around your selection, and the elements will be nested inside of it. This new parent-child structure will also be visible in the Layers panel. When a frame is selected, its styling options will appear in the Style panel on the right-hand side. Like other elements, you can apply background, border radius, and other styling properties. You can also control spacing with padding and margin. Just like we covered in the Adding a Section lesson, the clipping feature hides any part of a child element that extends beyond the frame's borders. To enable it, select the frame, and within the Style panel, under Layout, you'll find the option for clipping. Within the drop-down, select Clip Overflow to hide content outside of the frame's boundaries. You can also use this drop-down to clip the frame's content into various shapes. You can resize a frame by dragging its handles on the canvas or by entering specific values in the Style panel. Child elements within the frame that use percentage-based sizing will scale dynamically relative to the parent frame's dimensions. Their position is also relative to the frame size. One helpful button within the Style panel is the Resize to Fit option. You can easily resize the frame to contain the child components by selecting this button within the Style panel.